All right, and we are back, and this is our first town of Initium. So now, what we're gonna do? We're gonna start the whole process over again, clean slate. Now, first, chat. Do you have any ideas for what type of town this is? I'm gonna put this town in the mountains, which means it needs to be a mining town. Does anyone have any names for the mining town? Yuki's drawing a blank. Yuki's drawing a blank. That's okay. I've got a name for this town. Germelin. We're just gonna call it Germelin for now. So let's do the same process we had before. I'm gonna open up this one just so we can follow it as a coder, right? So points of interest, owners, family, and how do I change the color again? There we go. I'll have to remember how I did the text, the box borders and stuff like that. The first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So let's have at least 20 jobs ready. That way they have NPCs they can talk to, and again, it feels like a living, breathing world. No town would just have like 5 buildings that were just there, unless it was like barely a town. And then we'll also have our color code for young and old. There we go. Bit darker than the other one, but it's fine. It'll do. Now let's see. What's the first place we want to have? Let's have the... So the first one, obviously, the mines. Right? We'll just call it mines for now. Second one will be another guild hall. Every town in my world has a guild hall. Church / temple. High IQ play there. High IQ play. Explain. 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 Fourth one will be okay, let's see. We've got a mine, a guild hall, a church. Let's say a mushroom collector. I misspelled mushroom. You know, let's say there's lots of special dwarven mushrooms that you can find in this area. That you can use for different special types of ales or medicines or ointments, potions, different things like that. And then the next one we're gonna have is the we'll have a brewer. Let's say the miners here, they really have ale. They drink a lot of ale to kind of help them through the day, because a lot of people would die in mines. Mining was not and is not a very safe job. Okay, it is probably one of the least safe jobs in the entire world and in all of history. You know, you could get caved in, you could get flooded. There could be poison gases, there could be explosive gases. You get black lung from smoking and breathing in all those chemicals from the coals and stuff like that. You could get injured from your own tools, from your buddy's tools. It's not a dangerous job. It's not a very happy job. So let's say there's a brewer, and then we'll also have there be a tavern. Now we could mix those together, but we won't do that. We'll have them be separate, so that way we can fill out our spots more. If we end up coming up with more than 20 ideas, we'll mix things like the brewer and the tavern. Have them be one person. Maybe he brews during the day, taverns at night. You know, host. Then let's have an inn for a place for the adventurers, because realistically back then not all towns had inns, not all towns had places for people to sleep. But you know, for gaming sense, it makes it a little bit easier, so you don't have to role play like, oh, find a person, stay in their house, because that's what really would happen. People trusted each other more back then. You know, we'll just have an inn, and then we'll also have oh, we already have church and temple. Let's have a trade hall or a trader / gen store. So another general store here. This one would be near the entrance of the town. Or maybe towards the center. We'll see. We'll figure it out. I think I'll only have one entrance to this town because it's going to be right on a mountain, and you have to kind of climb up to get to it. Now, there wouldn't be a baker because you wouldn't have a lot of bread to be made, so they'd have to just bring it into town, a lot of the food. But let's say there's a river close by that, because a lot of water comes down from the mountain. And let's say there's maybe a river or a small lake that forms from the water getting down to the bottom of the mountain and makes a pool. And there's a fisher or fishing store, a guy who sells a lot of fishing ware for people to go down and fish for fish on their days off from the mines, or maybe he sells fish and not fishing ware. We'll see. We'll figure that out as we go. Now, okay, so we've got the mines, the guild hall, church and temple, a mushroom collector, brewer, and a tavern. Possibly we'll mix them together, and then we won't mix those together, so that way we can have kind of fill them out. And usually a tavern would not be an inn, so that's more of a modern day kind of thought process. Back then, you wouldn't really have the tavern be the inn. The trader / general store, a fishing store. We'll work the details on that out later. A hardware store. Yeah, we should have a hardware store. We'll change the name of it from hardware, but hardware store works out pretty well. We would need a place to sell and buy tools for mining. A lot of sense, right? Cobbler or a smith. Yeah, cobbler is probably a good idea. Someone to make those nice thick boots. I wrote Dobbler. So we've got a guy to make their tools. I wrote gobbler. Man, I misspelled it twice. And then we'd also need someone to break up the rocks. So believe it or not, most minerals, if it was in a mine, you wouldn't be able to just take home with you. Gold, you could do that. Gold, you could find like a small speck of gold, and then maybe find like a big boulder of gold and bring that home. But with silver or diamonds, things like that, they would be inside a rock casing, and you would need someone who could get out the impurities of the silver, so you could just get the pure silver. Because if you broke apart the silver, it wouldn't have just like pieces of gold in it. The silver mixed with the dirt a lot more. So you would need someone to parse that, and we'll just call it a rock breaker. We'll just say that there's a rock breaker in the town. One guy who breaks all the rocks for everybody to get all their minerals out of the mines and things like that. He could break the silver apart, the gold apart, diamonds apart, whatever we end up putting in here. And then because they get a lot of minerals, a jewelry shop. We'll have a jewelry shop. Someone who sells different sorts of necklaces and rings and crowns, even possibly. Well, the shop doesn't just do it. They would need a jeweler. I think I spelled jeweler right. If I spelled it wrong, please let me know. I probably misspelled jewelry too. There's my dyslexia coming in and my just poor spelling. So we have a jewelry shop, and we have a jeweler, and we have a rock breaker, a cobbler. We're actually getting pretty good. A fishing store, Jewellr. Thank you. Let me know if jewelry was spelled right. I don't think it was. My brain is saying that's wrong, but I don't want to Google it right now. What else could you find in a mountain? You could probably find goats, sheep, those sorts of things. So a goat / sheep herder. The guy he brings his. Let's make it goats, because sheeps you would find more in hills. Goats actually go up and down. So we can make this guy. He raises goats for the village, so they have meat and goat milk. Which means we've got a dairyman. I'll just call it dairyman. Make it one word. I don't know what the word for that would be, but we'll just call it a dairyman. He makes the goat. He takes the goat milk and makes it into goat cheese, goat yogurt, whatever sort of dairy products you can make from goat milk. He does all that, and he gets it from the goat herder. We're filling it out pretty well. Now we just put basic stores in. We haven't put any sort of mythological fantasy sort of trope like a wizard's tower. So in this case, in my world, one of the ways people perform magic is with a special thing, a very rare mineral called moonstone. And I'm gonna call it. So this guy is a guy who buys and sells moonstone. He buys it from the mining operation. and he can sell it to adventurers, or mostly he sells it to the kingdom so they can supply their wizards with the moonstone. But another thing he's not going to tell people is moonstone is also used for a drug called moon dust, which some people use to go on journeys to the astral plane. But moon dust is highly illegal. So we have a little bit of plot. We'll have moon dust, or how about moonstone duster? We'll just call it a moonstone duster. We'll come up with a better name for it later. So this guy is the guy who buys some of the moonstone and he turns it into moon dust. This guy is doing the shady business. This guy's doing the regular business. And the adventurers can even go to the moonstone dealer or the moonstone duster if maybe they get addicted to the moon dust. You know, that could be a thing that accidentally happens. And then, so now we've got pretty much all the basic needs. We have trade, we have food, we have import, export. But let's make a town, make a guard. That's Dard. Now, we can either make it a guard barrack or a guard tower. Now, since this is on a mountain, it would probably be a tower. So that way they could see really far in the distance with their sort of telescopes to not just see if they're coming to the mines, but they could also see the roads down below the mountain. And they could warn the kingdom about where roaming armies or maybe droves of like goblins or orcs are heading, in case there's like some sort of monster problem. And those are two things we have. We have a guard tower now. And what is a good final thing? And it doesn't have to be the last thing. It's just the last one I'm thinking of right now. I'm thinking maybe we have a wyvern breeder, or wyvern, however you want to see it. That's a breeder. So a wyvern breeder. And wyverns, even in base D&D, their poison can be used to make certain potions or poisons. What do these guys do with their dead? Most people who die in this place probably die in cave-ins or floodings in the caves, so you don't really find the bodies. But let's say, since they don't have a place, they can't really bury them in the ground, we'll have a funeral pyre. Everyone burns their dead here. Everyone burns their dead because you can't bury them. You burn the dead and you spread the ashes somewhere. So we'll give a funeral pyre, and it's just a giant place where they use stones to burn the bodies every single time. All right, so that's Gurmalin. Now I'm not a huge fan of the name. If someone can come up with a better name, because it's kind of too close to Gremlin. So let's call it Winter. No, I don't like that name. Is it really wise to burn near a mine, or are we past that and I wasn't paying attention? We're not burning near the mine. This is just like, so when I start drawing it out, you'll understand. It'll be not next to the mine, but like kind of on the outside of the town. What's a name that I can think of real quick? Berveron. We'll just go with Berveron for now. All right, so let's start a new, what's the name of this? Affinity photo. And we're not going to add who works there and all that stuff this time. We'll do it next time. If we might not get to our third town today, but we got to a second one. Mount Cramore. Ooh, I like that one. Well, that might be the name of the mountain. I like the name of Mount Cramore, but that might just be the name of the mountain, not the name of the town there. Now, I'm not saying they have to have that name. So we'll make the base of the ground black. Nah, let's make it brown. That way we can still draw over it. There you go. So just like before. And let's save as Brevalor. And I'm just going to call it Brevalor for now. Cremorulus. I like that name. What ore / S deposits are common in the town? No, I'm not calling it Cream Patown. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing there, friend. Nice try, Quiet. Nice try. Omega lol. Ore deposits are iron is going to be one, coal is one, moonstone obviously, otherwise you wouldn't have a moonstone dealer and an illegal moonstone duster. He caught on abort. Okay, so first we'll make the mountains. Let's make them a gray color if we can find one. So the town is built into the mountain a bit. And obviously the first thing that you're going to see is the obviously here's the mine. So here's the mine entrance and the town exits, and we'll put the town exit and entrance right down there. All right. So next thing we have is the guild hall, which we'll put over here. And the brewer probably needs to well, actually we'll put the general store here. And then let's see, the miners probably leave, and the first thing they do is they go to the brewery. Or they go to the tavern. We'll put the tavern here. And then the brewery next to the tavern. Let's make that a little closer. All right, call it Eisen. That's German for iron, I'm told, or Eisenberg. I gotta say, shortening stuff so it fits in the 500 character limit is annoying for Magnus' story. Interesting name you're trying to come up with there, Quiet. I'm watching you there. I might call it Eisen. Yeah, okay, we'll see. So let's see. We got the brewer, the tavern, the guild. We got to put the church and the temple in the center again, because you would always put it in the center of your town. And then where are we gonna put the mushroom collector? Let's say the mushroom collector has to go off to the side of town, so we'll just call it Mush, and we should be able to figure it out from that. Eisen. How about Eisenton? The town of iron, Eisenton. All right. So next, we've got the trader, general store. We did that. Fishing store. All right, a fishing store. So he would be constantly going down the mountain, and then we'll just call it fish. Hardware store. Now that you would want to have near near your general store. That way all the shops are kind of all right. And a cobbler who would make all the nice big boots will be over near the over near here as well, because he would need tools to do his cobbling. And ironically, he probably wouldn't want to walk very far. I'm not winning this battle, am I? No, I don't think you are. Should we be seeing something on the screen? Yeah. Sorry, I didn't realize you couldn't see it. Unless the wizard has some healing magic in their repertoire, one might want an apothecary or some form of medic, right? That's what the mushroom collector is. All right, so now let's see. The mushroom collector, brewer, tavern, the mines, obviously. Here, I'll write mines above it. All right, we needed the hardware store. So we'll put the hardware store over here. We're changing it around. Okay, so we've got, let's see, I'm back. Shrooms are the drugs. Checks out. Well, let's say most of these are healing shrooms, and then of course there's also just food shrooms for shrooms. Remember, the big drug here is moonstone. All right, so then we also have to have the rock breaker. So we'll just call that rock break, and then in the center of town we'll have the jeweler and jewelry store. So that's how you spell it. I don't know. I'll just get rid of the second L for now. On that. So let's see. We got the jewelry store. The goat herder. They would probably be near the mushroom lady, because they probably want to feed their goats some mushrooms in the morning. I don't know. That's just how my brain thinks. It's not necessarily correct. Obviously, he'd be right next to there. Freaking rocks open. And then next to there, we'll have the moonstone trader. Moon trade, and then we'll have the moon dust far apart. So that way, nobody suspects him, because his shop is away from the moonstone trader, right? What is this? We'll have the wyvern be there. People tend to try and stay away from the wyvern guy, and so the moon dust guy built his right next to it, so people avoid them both. So the local authorities don't catch on. Basically, it's like building your marijuana farm next to a nuclear power plant. People tend to avoid those. You'll probably die of radiation, but it's okay. You'll make lots of money real quick. Money. And then the guard tower is down south. So we'll actually and then the funeral pyre will also be outside the town, near the guard tower. Oh, we need the dairyman. Did we forget anybody else though? Let's just make it a vertical building. There we go. So this is our town so far. We'll actually, let's save this first. Let's see. And then the last two are the watchtower and funeral pyre. And there we go. So the watchtower is here, watches down the mountain, looks for incoming invaders or any sort of monster horde that's in the land, lets the kingdom know. And then the funeral pyre is across from that where they burn their dead. Anybody who they can find the body to, they burn the dead there. So this is our second town, Isenton. And I think I'm going to stop with this part there, and I'm going to move on to playing a game because I would like to play a game. I know I said I want to do 3 towns. Isenton? No, it's here. I'll type it on the thing. And just so we know that's the name of the town, we'll give it a special font. Isenton. Anyway, so that's Isenton. So we've got our 2 towns, Initium and Isenton. And we'll fill out more of that next Friday. But this is what I'm going to do for this Friday because I want to move on and go to playing some Fall Guys. I just want to chill out with some Fall Guys after this because my brain is starting to feel a little, overworked with thinking about this stuff. So we'll go on a break real quick. But here's our town, all the different workers. And here's how it looks. This is going to be the basic one. Next week, we'll actually try and go into Wonder Draft and actually make these towns, I think. And then maybe we'll go into the 3rd one. But I hope that this video helped you out. I hope it taught you good ways to kind of set up your town, how to build it out, what kind of things to look for what kind of characters, what kind of people, where to set things up. This is just a basic build. This isn't going to be my final build. I'm going to make it look way better in Wonder Draft in part 2, which will come out next week. Until then, stay safe, stay smart, stay healthy, and remember, don't believe in yourself, believe in me who believes in you. Bye-bye. Hey there, thanks for watching my series on building a Dungeons & Dragons world. If this video helped you out, please click that like button and subscribe. It helps me make more content like this in the future. If you have any ideas or suggestions, leave a comment or you can join live at twitch.tv/Zaggard. I hope to see you there and have a wonderful day.